What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and today we're going to discuss if any character is actually required in this game, whether it's just to beat the game in general or what have you. And I started off by asking a series of polls. I asked if banning Vestal would have the biggest impact on an estate. It was an overwhelming about, I think 87% of people said yes, banning Vestal has the biggest impact on an estate. And I followed it up with Jester because I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards Vestal and Jester just because they are very straightforward but very powerful characters at what they're trying to accomplish. So I asked about Jester afterwards, and I thought I was going to get about the same number just because there are a lot of people that swear by Jester. He's very friendly in terms of stress healing, very easy to use. And so I asked about that, and surprisingly, it was almost the complete inverse of Vestal. These are probably a lot of the same people that voted in the other polls, but it was about 3,000 in each one, so that's pretty cool. And with Jester, it was about 19% or 20% or something like that was saying that no, he is, or yes, that banning him is that important, and the other, about 80%, said no. And then when I asked about Antiquarian, I thought Antiquarian would either be like 50-50, or she would be maybe less than that, like 10%, just something wild. But surprisingly, she was pretty close to Jester, so it was very consistent that these characters who, when I talk to people about this game, or they talk to me and whatnot, they always mention that they feel like, maybe I need Vestal to beat this this game, just, entirely because she's so consistent in healing, and healing is very important. Or, I can't beat this mission without Jester, so that's why I picked Jester. And then Antiquarian, there have been people that say, like, if I don't have Antiquarian early on and I don't run her for like 10 straight weeks to just stockpile all my money, I struggle. So I picked these three characters because I feel like they stand out the most in terms of what they offer, and they're very powerful at what they're doing. Before we get any further, of course, like, comment, subscribe, join Discord, follow me on Twitch, go watch when I stream, and if you really want to support the channel, check out Patreon, all that awesome stuff down below. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I'm actually not going to bury the lead. I'm going to tell you straight up that no characters required. Banning any character really doesn't have a significant impact on an estate, but there are some caveats to that I'll talk about later. The reason I am covering this is because, I've done things like my Blood Moon guide where I suggest running 3 or 4 Vestals in your save, but the reason I suggested Vestal is just because she's very easy to play, very effective. Same with Jester, in that same idea of being effective. But really, no character in this game is required. The reason being that there is no character outside of, surprisingly, like Grave Robber and Shield Breaker that have specifically unique mechanics to them. So what I'm saying is Grave Robber is the only character with stealth, Shield Breaker is the only character with Aegis, but even then you can get items that give you Aegis, so it's not even unique to her as an ability. So really, there's just stealth, which is surprising. And that means that everything outside of Antiquarian's unique gold stacking and stealth is covered by other characters. So there are other healers than Vestal. There is even another character that can do an AoE heal, like Vestal. You probably might know just by me saying that. I'm not talking about camp skills, but I'll tell you here in a sec. So we have plenty of other healers. There are other stress healers that aren't Jester. There's, for instance, Houndmaster gets really good at stress healing at later levels. Crusader's very consistent. Flagellant has Suffer. Spoilers, Flagellant's the other character that can group heal. He has to get hit to Death's Door, then he heals the party. Something you're not always looking to do, but he can also heal multiple people at the same time with his Redeem, and Reclaim's pretty cool like that. So actually, now that I think about it, Reclaim is unique to Flagellant, or I should say Restoration, but I'm starting to get off track here. My point is that no mechanic, for the most part, or strategy, archetype, whatever you want to call it, is unique to any character. There are plenty of characters that stun, there are plenty of characters that can move units out of position, there are plenty of support units, there are plenty of ways to heal through either in battle or camping, or preventing damage through stuns, which is really good for damage mitigation. There are just so many ways to tackle problems in this game that sure, you can bring Vestal and Jester to every single run and do fine just because of their complete raw recovery output between those two characters. Or you could run things like Plague Doctor and Occultist, which are very complementary to each other, and you can just stun the hell out of everything and prevent yourself from getting hit in the first place. Same with damage dealers. There are two bruisers that can hit rank 4. That is Hellion and Crusader. They can both hit rank 4, rank 3, what have you. There are plenty of range damage dealers. There are plenty of melee damage dealers. There are plenty of characters that use Mark Synergy, Bleeds, Blight. There are just everything. There's just everything that's covered in this game between everyone's abilities. So there's no unique thing, really, that when you play this game, you go, I need that, and only this character gives it to me. Unless, of course, it's stealth, or if it's gold acquisition, which that is nice, but again, there are other ways to get gold too. You can use the bank. My advice, if you want my unsolicited advice, is that if you find yourself having those feelings of dependency where you go, I need Vestal, I need Jester, I need X, I need Y. If you're finding yourself in that situation, try to figure out why. Think about, why do I really want this character? Do I want Jester because I want the raw stress healing output? Okay, how do I get that besides Jester? I can look at Crusader, I can look at Flagellant, I can look at stuns, I can look at Houndmaster. There are many ways to deal with stress. Even stress facilities. You can just never run Jester, and if you're worried about stress, you can just get your characters all beat up and up to 100 stress every dungeon, and then stick them in the facilities like the brothel and stuff, and it's easy. Of course it costs money, but everything in this game is about opportunity costs. So what are you trading off? What are you getting in return? And how do you maximize those advantages? If there's a character that you really like or feel kind of dependent on that you're always taking, ask yourself if not only can you replace them by doing something else or change up your strategy, what if I try this character a different way? So if you're always playing Occultist in the back and you're using, Roof Spaghetti and Heals and Mark, why not try him up front and use Hands from the Abyss? Try the rest of the kit. Same with Vestal. As good as her healing output is and her stun is pretty solid, what about rank 2 Vestal? What if you use Mace Bash and just hit things in the face? Is it better than Crusader up front? It might not be, but whereas Crusader gets stress healing and better just base damage, Vestal has the ability to get her damage super high thanks to Hand of Light, and she can also stun rank 3 out of rank 2, and she has interesting trinkets like Profane Scroll. So even if characters look like they overlap quite heavily in terms of archetype, there are reasons to take them over others. So if we stick with our example of Crusader and Vestal, both of them do bonus damage to Unholy with Smite and Mace Bash. They both have stuns, but then you look at Vestal, she has a group heal. She doesn't have a stress heal, but she can use her group heal out of rank 2, and that's fantastic. No other character has that besides Flagellant if he's dying. I think one of the best parts about this game, besides the theme and Wayne June and Chatwood's amazing music, is that all of the characters you get can be played multiple different ways. Sure, they have some ways that are just stronger than others and they're better at them, but what's fun is just trying something new and saying, wow, I always thought of, for instance, Crusader as sitting up front, using Stunning Blow, and hitting Smite. He's actually pretty freaking cool if I put him in rank 3 and use Holy Lance after Highwayman uses Duelist Advance on turn 1 from rank 4. And you have this weird dance team all of a sudden, and it's a different way to play the game. They're the same characters you start with, they're the same characters you want to put in the front line because they have melee attacks, but it turns out they can be played different ways as well and do just fine or sometimes even better than you were expecting. Alright y'all, that's going to do it for this one. I'm not trying to get super tangential here, and I don't really think I have much more to say on the topic, but I'm just trying to have this positive dialogue about characters where, sure, we have our favorites, sure, we think some characters are really good at this or just better than others and stuff like that, but I really want people to understand this idea that no one in this game is required. Like, I beat Blood Moon the first time with 4 Vestals, and that did fine for me at the time. When I beat the game the first time ever on Darkest, I took no Vestal to any endgame activity. I used Occultist and Arbalest as primary healers. So you didn't even need Vestal in that situation. And that's what I'm getting at. You can always find interesting and unique ways to tackle problems because all the characters have these really interesting, diverse movesets. They overlap quite frequently with each other, but every time they overlap, it's never quite as crowded. I don't know what word I want to use here, but the roster never feels crowded. I never look at Leper and Hellion together and I say, I have just 2 units that hit the front really freaking hard, and they're pretty much the same character. Even if they both do really good damage to the same ranks, there are some different caveats they have. Like, for instance, Hellion has just damage for different situations and different ranges. She can reach all over the place from rank 1. It's pretty awesome. And Leper only has really Chop and Hew as primary damage buttons, and then he has a bunch of interesting utility moves like Intimidate or Purge, Withstand, and that makes him play way different than Hellion if you start to lean into those. I'm going to stop myself there because, again, I'm getting tangential, but otherwise, if, like I was saying, if you have characters you're really drawn to, if you feel that you're really dependent or just bringing the same characters out all the time, if you're still having fun, keep doing it. I'm not going to tell you how to have fun in this game, but all I really want to do is open your eyes, humble viewer, to the fact that you can run different characters to the same effect and still find victory, and that's a big thing that I do find as being fun in this game. I just told you I'm not going to tell you how to have fun, but I'm trying to tell you other ways that you can have fun, so I'm hoping that that distinction is enough. Okay, yeah, I'm done. Alright, so, thanks for watching. Next time, stuff, who the hell knows what's coming up. I have scripts, I have videos in the work. It's just a matter of what do I have the motivation to sit down and work on that day. Because sometimes I only have 20 minutes and I have to throw something together that's kind of like this video. So, little peek behind the curtain. Yeah, thanks for watching. Watch me on Twitch, join Discord, all the awesome stuff. Let me know what you're thinking. Alright, bye.